Sex Talk with Erica Miley. 'Cause sexuality is tough. And okay, sex just isn't good enough, no. Sex Talk with Erica Miley.
Hey folks, welcome to Sex Talk with Erica Miley. Erica Miley here. So glad to see or hear you all. Or yeah, whatever. I am glad to be with you all today. Just you and me today. So I want to get into it today. I want to get into some of the deepest stuff today. And the reason is this is actually something I hear from my clients. This is something I hear from people in my life. This is stuff that's gone through my head. So I wanted to talk about why avoiding your shit impacts your sex life. It's really, really important that we talk about this. So I really want to address how avoiding your emotional shit, your baggage, the problems of your past, whatever you would call it, impacts your sexual life. I often work with folks who have a lot of shame around who they are or negative beliefs about themselves. Many times the things they tell me that they tell themselves sounds like this. So I'm going to give you some examples. If only I do this enough, I'll prove to everyone I'm worth it. I'm a piece of shit. They'll find out that I'm a fraud. If I just work hard enough, they'll never know. The list in my head is too long for me to have time to tackle that. Other people's problems are more important. Or other people have had worse than I have. I have nothing to complain about. To be honest, folks, this is the one probably that I hear the most often. No one worries about this stuff like I do. And I'm not enough. Ooh, I'm not enough. That's so much. That's such a heavy thing to say about yourself. Ultimately, this is one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to talk about this. Is these are the messages we tell ourselves on a daily basis. And it absolutely and completely impacts our sex lives. Do any of these sound familiar to you? Do they sound like something maybe you've said to yourself at one point or another? Or maybe even right now? Let's really get to the meat of this. So, Erica, why do these thoughts and feelings impact my sexual life? I imagine that's what you're asking me right now as I'm in your ears. It's just sex, right? Here's the deal. It's not just sex. Sexuality and how we express it. And I'm not just talking about who you like to have sex with. This is regardless of your gender identity or the gender identity of the person that you like to have sex with. It is part of our whole identity, our whole self. If you fundamentally do not believe you are worthy of love and belonging, you will not allow yourself to explore your sexual self in a way that is truly gratifying to you and your partner. That's something that I don't think we as people or as culturally that we think about, that if we're unhappy, and I don't mean happiness as the feeling, like I mean truly like worthiness. That's what I'm talking about here. If we truly believe that we are unworthy, I don't think we realize how much that impacts our partners. If we aren't allowing ourselves to have and connect with our sexual self, we are not truly being honest with our partners about who we are. It's a pretty big reach for me to say to you that if you fundamentally do not believe you are worthy, you will not allow yourself to have the pleasure that you could have, nor will you identify the pleasure that their partner will get from seeing you have that kind of pleasure. So I don't want to get too far into the weeds of that. But what I do want to tackle is these negative beliefs because I think they're really, really important because so often we go through this life with this list in our head of things that we're supposed to accomplish, whether it's housework, whether it's child care, whether it's partner care. And we put a lot of those things ahead of everything else and any of the feelings that we're having. And of course we do that. That's how we get through our days. And if we only allow ourselves to avoid the fundamental beliefs about ourselves, like the worthiness issues, it will pop up. The analogy I use with my clients a lot is it's like trying to put a garbage can over a geyser. It works for a little bit. It works for a minute. And then it just explodes out and it comes out in places that we don't expect for it to come out. We avoid people that we love. We avoid things we like to do. We struggle to sleep because we're not addressing these issues. So avoiding your emotional shit, avoiding your baggage, the stuff that you've never talked about with anybody, really does impact not only how you experience sex, but how you experience sex with your partner and how your partner experiences sex with you. So how do you start? How do you tackle this? Number one, please, 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 please get therapy. I really, really believe in the power of saying to another person our innermost fears and thoughts and concerns and being truly seen and being truly vulnerable with another person. And why a therapist, you ask? Because our partners are not meant to hold all of that for us. Our partners are not meant to hold all of our emotional concerns. I think our culture does us all a disservice by having this expectation that you will find the person that completes you. It's horseshit. Just saying. You will not find a person that will make you whole. That wholeness has to come from within you. And that is not an easy pill to swallow because what it means is that we, give up our power over other people and other people give up their power over us. Oh, that sucks. That is a hard thing to do, but it is incredibly important to do. If we can truly be seen, if we can truly be vulnerable with another person, we can do it again with somebody else. So that's why fundamentally I believe in the importance of therapy. So if you can practice that vulnerability with someone who's trained to hold it with you, who's trained to see you and say, hey, have you really thought about these patterns and how they're helpful to you and how they're unhelpful to you and how they used to work for you and how they're no longer working for you? Quick break from the action, folks. Action. I just want to tell you about my Patreon. Every week, I bring you guests and seriously, lots of sex nerdery. Help me keep doing that by becoming a supporter. What do you get in return? Cool perks. For real. I am going to be doing shout outs, stickers, a bunch of stuff. So check it out at ericamiley.com/Patreon. That's ericamiley.com/Patreon. I hope to see you and see more of you by becoming a Patreon. Thanks, guys. Some of the things that my clients say to me is like, I don't want to talk about my mom shit, or I don't want to talk about the shit about my dad. I want some tools to handle this right now. I feel you. We hate to admit that our caregivers, the people who raised us, or the people who didn't raise us, who didn't participate in our world the way they were meant to when we were tiny, how that impacted the rest of our life. We hate to allow that to have had so much power over us, but it did. It fundamentally did. It impacted who we became. And of course, our biology did too. It's always working together. Your environment and your biology are two things that are always working in tandem. And if we don't address it and give our lives context, we continue to blame ourselves. We continue to use it as the foot on our own neck. I've been saying that a lot this week to my clients. Is that I need you to take your foot off your own neck. And it is not helpful to you to continue to beat yourself up, to continue to say, I'm not enough, I'm not worthy of this, and no one worries about this like I do. Because here's the deal, it's just fundamentally untrue. We are meant for connection. We are meant to be able to connect with people emotionally and give ourselves to other people vulnerably. And the more that we avoid it and the more that we fight it, the harder things get. So tackling this, therapy is really, really helpful. The second thing that's really helpful, and I know that I've mentioned this in other episodes, if you struggle to access therapy or you really are worried about taking that first step towards getting help, try this. I want you to try to learn to identify that your thoughts are your thoughts and they are not always fact. This is not me preaching about fake news. I'm not about to get political on you. We truly believe that just because we have a thought means that it's true. We will have thoughts about ourselves and immediately believe that they are true, even when we do not have evidence for those thoughts or feelings. So something I want you to try is to evaluate the truth of the thought. Do I have actual evidence for this belief about myself? And if I don't, what does that mean? So I want you to start there. That's something that I am, as a therapist, it's something I'm asking my clients a lot is this fundamentally true? And if it isn't, if you don't have the evidence for it, what is helpful about continually beating yourself up with it? Typically, most of the time, the answer I'm getting from my people is that it's not true, one, and two, that if I don't beat myself up, then who will? And if I don't beat myself up, then that means I'm lazy. How we in our culture have come to a place of, if I'm not hitting the bar that I am keeping for myself all the time, if I'm not doing that all the time, then I'm lazy. Why we have equated that in our culture here, at least here in American culture, I'm not altogether sure how we got there. But what I do know is that the incredible amount of pressure that we put on ourselves, it's not making us more productive. One, we actually have the research to show that. It's not making us more productive, and that it actually is harming our mental health. So, again, the two things that I want you to take away from this episode is that these negative core beliefs, this negative spiral that you run through your head all of the time, is not helpful to you and is not helpful to your sex life. So again, avoiding your shit, avoiding your baggage, it impacts you, it impacts your partner, and does not allow you to have gratifying sexual connection the way that you would want to be. So if you're looking for a therapist and you don't know how to go about it, hit me up. I'm happy to answer any questions you've got. Eric@ericamiley.com, and I'm on all the socials. And if you're in the Florida area or if you're in the Washington area, those are the two states I serve folks, I'd be happy to try to see you as a client. If I can't myself, I'm going to be opening a group practice here in the next few weeks. So I'm going to be adding therapists to my business so that I can be serving more people. So please, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm happy to help you how I can. And also, I just want to shout out to my other therapists out there. I have a wonderful Facebook group for professionals to be able to talk about sexual issues that come up in session, but also how the stories that we hear impact our own lives. And I think it's really, really important that we as therapists have a safe place to really talk about this. So that's called Sex Talk with Erica Miley Professionals Group. So please check it out. I'd love to have you. I'd love for you to jump in there and hear other therapists and their stories. And I am all about helping those find people, whether it's they're looking for therapists or therapists looking for other therapists. I like to try to grow community. So again, erica@ericamiley.com for email. Check out my website, ericamiley.com. Thank you all for sticking around. I know this was a heavy episode, but these thoughts are worth tackling. I promise you that. You'll never regret it. As much as it feels hard and it doesn't feel good to tackle them, on the other side of it, you'll have more freedom. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening, folks. Please rate and review on iTunes. That helps this podcast get found. If you leave a 5-star review, let me know about it on any social media, and I'll shout you out on the podcast. You can find my website at ericamiley.com. You can find me on Facebook, the Gram, and Twitter. See y'all next time.